Hey everyone, it's FLAK. Battlefield 2042's 1.2 update is here, and it brings with it more improvements to the core game. This includes balancing passes and specialist changes, as well as an updated map. That's what we're going to talk about here today. A quick note, this is not intended to be exhaustive, just a synopsis of the big changes. I'll leave a link to the complete patch notes in the video description if you want all the details. So to start, let's talk map improvements. Kaleidoscope was infamous for its lack of cover and wide open spaces at release. Developers prioritized the map for overhaul a few months ago, and we're finally seeing some of those results. There is significantly more cover across the map, which should encourage players to attack objectives instead of it devolving into a long-range shootout. Some of the biggest changes surround the south side of the map. On what are the B objectives for 128-player Conquest, a forward operating post has been created. Significant changes were also made groundside by the F objectives. Lines of sight have been disrupted with cover, and I found the gameplay here to be much more compelling. The focal point of the map got some upgrades as well. At the entrances to the data center, you'll find barricades and other cover to limit vehicle movement and provide cover for infantry to approach. I noticed on the south side, DICE added a little zip line across the canal. And speaking of water, a huge change in Kaleidoscope, huge, is the reduction in the depth of the water on the map. Now, previously tanks would founder in the water, but in the updated version of the map, it lets you traverse it easily. This should have a significant impact on vehicle gameplay, since you're no longer limited to crossing those bridges. But on the flip side, this does make raising and lowering the bridges pretty much pointless. Throughout the map, you'll find improvements to cover and to atmosphere. You might notice devs added some background stuff to better sell the gritty look they're currently pursuing. For vehicle gameplay changes, DICE rolled out another nerf to aircraft. Both of the stealth helicopters saw balancing passes, which caused the 30mm cannons to overheat sooner. This should reward more skilled pilots. The blast radius on the Condor and Super Heinz 50mm cannon was reduced from 5 to 3.5 meters. Ammo count was dropped from 12 to 8, and the replenish time was almost doubled from 3.5 seconds to 6. Developers did this as a means to continue to keep the focus of those vehicles on transport. Simultaneously, developers gave the Wildcat mobile AA a much-needed boost, increasing the range of missile lock-ons to 600 meters, bumping damage from 130 to 210, and increasing the base damage of the 30mm AA cannons. For guns, the BSVM rifle effectively got a nerf, with an accuracy penalty added for automatic fire and damage drop-off for high-power rounds. Shotguns now only deal damage beyond 200 meters, and the K30 SMG got a nerf across the board pretty much for all ammo types, while the M5A1 close combat rounds now deal 18 damage at close range instead of 22. The MP9 saw a similar nerf with damage reductions for close combat rounds. Other big changes include fixes to aim assist for controller players. Previously, it would not track reliably, and developers say it should feel improved. Unfortunately, mouse input reportedly still remains a problem. If we get any updates on that, I will, of course, talk about it. Meanwhile, DICE began rolling out changes to specialists to create a more even style and tone. Aside from a grittier appearance, some specialists had new voice lines added to make them more serious. I will say this was definitely an improvement for Angel, although others like McKay are still painfully bad. There were no meaningful changes to specialists in regards to class function in this update. However, Pike's scanner no longer reveals her position when in use, and the duration of the scan ability was increased from half a second to 0.85. A surprising addition to the game was the inclusion of a player profile and statistics page. This shows you an overview of your performance and progression since launch. Many would argue it's basic, but it might be interesting to the casual player. The 1.2 update also included a number of bug fixes. You can read the exhaustive list in the patch notes. Again, I'll throw a link to that down below in the video description. Overall, the update represents an improvement to Battlefield 2042, but it doesn't really add anything substantial. The updates to Kaleidoscope and Specialists are welcome, but in my opinion, those problems should have been addressed prior to launch. News on Update 2.0 arrives later in August, so hopefully we'll get a better measure on if DICE actually intends to support Battlefield 2042 properly. They still contend the game is priority number one, but at this point in Battlefield 4's lifecycle, we had 16 new maps. Battlefield 2042 has added one. Live service or not, that's sad and unacceptable. Make sure to tell me your thoughts on the update in the comments. If you haven't already, subscribe to my new Shorts channel. I'll be taking community clip submissions and packing it with interesting Battlefield facts, humor, and other short-form content. A link to it is in the video description. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If not, a dislike. Subscribe and tap the bell for the latest updates, and if you want to support the channel, keep your money, share this video, or check out some of our channel sponsors, or that Shorts channel, whatever. As always, thanks for watching.